Hi and welcome to the My Future Business Show. My name's Rick Nusky and I'm here with Meiyoko Taylor. I hope I pronounced your name correctly there, Meiyoko. Is that correct?
It's Meiyoko, but you were
Meiyoko.
close.
Well, I tell you what, I always get these things wrong. So my apologies, my friend. So how have you been?
Awesome, excellent, man. I'm
Excellent.
blessed to be here. How about yourself?
Yes, very busy, always busy. You can choose how busy you are, and at the moment I'm pretty much at full throttle, and I'm very, very pleased and fortunate to have you on the show today. I just want to ask you a few things as we go through the call and, just explore a few different things. I've seen a lot of your stuff on your website. You're a best-selling author on Find You're Amazing. Is that what it's called there?
Yes, it's Find You're Amazing, 5 steps to transforming your life.
How about we explore that? Tell me a little bit about how this book came about for you.
It's very interesting on how that book came about. I that book was supposed to be released 5 years from now.
Wow.
And what happened is I was talking to a colleague of mine, and her and I got to a serious conversation just about life, about personal development, about different things. And she says, you have your book right now. What's stopping you?
Yep.
And the amazing part about that book is that book was actually the 5 steps and the 5 principles that I've learned that have taken me from rock bottom to where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was literally by accident,
Mm-hmm.
but it just turned out to be perfectly sequential order in the steps that I took to, reach the level of success that I've been blessed to have. And that's how the book was born. I mean,
wow.
it was truly, I said, you know what? It was about finding myself, finding out who I was, reconnecting with my passion, determining what my vision was, what I wanted for my life. And it just rang to my mind and said, you know what? It's about finding your amazing. That one thing that you do, that unique quality, that skill set, that uniqueness in every human being, that greatness that makes us amazing, that we hardly ever tap into. And that's how the book was developed. That's how it was born.
I see in a lot of interviews and with colleagues and friends and family members, they do lose that passion. They lose their way. How did you have an experience that maybe put you off track for a while then and you had to reconnect with it? How did this all work out for you?
You know what? I always was an entrepreneurial spirit ever since I was a child. And it's amazing how things happen. When we're children, we're taught not to cross the street. We're taught not to speak to strangers, and all those things are for our safety. But as we get older, we adapt that same type of mindset. Not to talk to strangers, not to cross the side of the street. So we create this type of comfort zone. And somewhere along the way, man, I mean, I got to a place where I just started to listen to other people, and I put my dreams and the passions that I had so far underneath the surface that I didn't even recognize them anymore. So to make a long story short, I had found myself in a position working a 9 to 5 that I hated. I mean, when I say I hated it, I mean, I woke up,
Understatement.
anxiety attacks. I mean, I loathed that job. And I found myself waking up going to a job that I absolutely hated because I was trying to please my parents and other people that said I should do it because it's stable and it's steady, but I absolutely hated it. I was in a relationship for 7 years, and it was a comfort zone. I mean, we knew we weren't really good for one another, but we were scared to be alone. We were scared to get out of that comfort zone.
Yep.
And I found myself severely overweight. And it's interesting because one day I just looked in the mirror one day and I burst into tears because I didn't recognize who I was. That was a defining moment for me. I said, who am I? Who is this person that you're looking at? Because it's not who you set out to be. And I had one of two choices at that point. Either I can continue down that road that I was taking, and that was going to lead to worse health, an even more damaging relationship, and possibly, who knows where I would be now, or I can make the scariest decision I've ever made, and I can go against what everyone's saying and listen to my passions and what I truly wanted to do. And what I found happening is I started to make baby steps, and as I started to take those baby steps, that's when some of the burdens started to lift. And it almost became to the point where it became a game for me. of testing how far I could go. And every time I would try to make a step, to advancing, I
Hmm.
would see myself really started the stress would relieve a little bit, and I would start to meet and connect to people that I never thought possible. And that's when I said, hey, you know what? What is this personal development thing? What is this self-discovery thing? And I mean, I started reading every book, every audio CD, just really looking into this thing called personal development.
Hmm.
And what I found is a lot of people who are the motivational speakers and the audios that I listen to, a lot of them are very good pioneers. But what would happen for me is it's like a wind-up doll. You would wind yourself up with motivation and, a few principles, and you would find yourself moving, but after a while, you're going to stop. You're going to stop moving.
Mm.
So I find myself, I go back to my situation, go back to some of the things that I was in. So it dawned on me that motivation alone was not going to do it. Success had to come from the inside. Success is an inside job. So until I really fixed what was going on with my mindset, with my heart, with my belief system, my emotions, then I was going to continue to repeat this process. So I dedicated myself to really just learning about mindset and emotional, mental mastery and all these different things. So it caused me to, get different certifications as an emotional mastery coach, a life coach, performance coach. So it really started to develop my fascination for the mind and
Mm.
really how the mind plays part in how successful we become. Because most people don't understand that your mindset, your belief system, your emotions, your behaviors, and your actions are all tied together. And they have to work together in like this orchestra, this symphony, in order for you to truly tap into your true potential. And that's what that's what I continue to be passionate about till this day.
Mm.
It starts from the inside. It
Yeah.
always does.
It
You
seems to
can.
me that. Oh, sorry to interject. Keep going.
I was just going to say you can give me any problem that somebody's dealing with.
Hmm.
I coach high performance individuals, celebrities, um, you name it. You give me any problem that they're struggling with. It always comes from something that's going on within their mind, their heart, or their belief system.
Wow.
All the time. All
So
the time.
there's a couple of things that I'm sort of gleaning from this, and I'd like to ask you more about if you don't mind. Um, I guess there's two parts of this. When you say personal development, who are the people that most inspired you? I guess is a good place to start. Do you have any on your hit list?
I started out with Tony Robbins.
Hmm.
Tony's cool.
Hmm.
Um, but who I really gravitated to, there was actually, I'll talk about a book. It was called The Quantum Leap Strategy by Price Pritchett.
Hmm.
And I think that's what really changed the game for me, before I even go into the personal development person.
Yep.
Why it changed the game for me is because in the beginning of the book, it tells a story of an insect. And the insect is just flying around with its wings, and it's just going nowhere because it has this glass screen, not realizing if the insect would just make one step further to the left, it will be right into the door and it get to where it wanted to go. And so the whole premise of that book is we're always taught to take baby steps and take micro goals to achieving that main goal, and that's fine and well. But what if we can make a decision to get out of our comfort zone and to make a step that would increase our progress 5 years ahead of time? And so the book is called The Quantum Leap Strategy, and there's another one called U Squared, U2, and
Hmm.
it's by Price Pritchett. If you haven't read it, I recommend you read it. It's an amazing book. It's
Hmm.
very short.
Hmm.
Both of them are about 30 pages, but it shows you that you can make a decision to make a quantum leap out of your comfort zone right now, and it can take you 1 month what it would take you normally 5 years to do. And that book changed my life because it really taught me that getting out of your comfort zone, making these decisions, you can speed up your success
Mm.
astronomically. So that was one thing that did it for me. And the person that I really listened to and resonated with was Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn.
I
Yeah.
absolutely love his stuff because he just teaches in a way where he can take earthly stories and he can take a lot of his mindset and he did motivation in a way, but he taught you principle. And that's what I really love about him.
I listen.
Uh,
I hear you say Jim Rohn. I hear, of course.
Yes.
It's just an uplifting.
Yes.
Yes. And what I
And
understand of Jim Rohn, he's actually Tony Robbins learnt a lot of what he learnt from him.
absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. So it's you got a lot of these amazing people that have actually stemmed off from Jim Rohn and the Zig Ziglars,
Hmm.
uh, and so I learned a lot from just listening to them. And then I just kind of took it a step further and I said, you know what? What all these people have in common is they're really talking about the mindset. And one of the things that most people don't really talk about when it comes to personal development, and I always say I put the personal back in personal development,
Mm.
because it is a very personal thing. Success is personal to you.
Yeah.
My version of success is not going to be the same as yours. So when I thought about it, I'm like, well, what about emotions? So I happened to meet this amazing gentleman who was an emotional mastery coach, a hypnotherapist, and he's from Germany. Spoke very broken English, but I took his course and kind of studied under him, and it blew me away because I'm a very big fan of neuro-linguistic programming. I actually practiced that as well, NLP,
Hmm.
and it really is amazing to me how most people don't realize that your emotions play such an important part in how successful you become.
Hmm.
And here's why. Based on your belief system, we all have an instruction manual. Okay, you have one, I have one. It was developed by our parents, our environments, television, media, our experiences. So it's all boiled into this one big plethora of knowledge that we have. All those things that I just mentioned to you are going to determine the type of emotions that are manifested with us as human beings. Emotions are both right and wrong at the same time. And here's what I mean. You can have an emotion towards me of anger. It could be based on a belief that you have. That belief may not be true in the reality of things, but in your reality, it is true.
Mm.
So that particular emotion is projected in the wrong fashion because it's not really in alignment with what the reality is. And what happens when it comes to success, and I'll give you an example. If you say in your mind, if your belief system is, I'm not worthy of success,
Hmm.
or I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, whatever you want to give yourself.
Hmm.
When the opportunity comes for you to get out of that comfort zone, that belief is going to come up. I'm not worthy enough. What's going to happen is it's going to bring an emotion. That emotion, that feeling may be nervousness. It may be anxiety. It may be fear. It may be uncertainty. And what's going to happen is because of that emotion you are feeling, it is going to ignite a certain behavior and an action. And most of the time that action is, I am not going to go a step in that direction.
Mm.
It's a cycle. It's a process. And most people leave out emotions. So, I mean, I see people all the time. Sometimes they, the irate customer service person. And I always ask myself, what are they going through?
Mm.
Why are why are they reacting a certain way? Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they have a particular belief about something that is causing this emotion. And I think this is so important, and I am passionate about really trying to spread this all over the world because we are really disconnected emotionally as a world
Yeah, as a
around.
species, yeah.
Yeah, we are so disconnected, and we don't realize why, the businesses are plummeting. Customer service people are rude. Um, why relationships are just failing,
Mm.
every one step at a time. And it's because we have forgotten as a species how to connect, how to communicate,
Mm.
how to speak the right language. And what we don't realize is that whether you like it or not, Rick,
Yep.
we all are communicating in some kind of way. We are all speaking a language in a certain kind of way, whether it's your body language when we're sitting at an event. Your body language tells me a lot.
Mm.
Whether you're talking to yourself, we are constantly communicating. We never stop communicating as a species.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's what people don't realize.
So, can
And
I just ask you? You
absolutely.
talked about your weight earlier, how you were overweight, and I wonder, is somebody's physical shape and size beyond some sort of medical, um, you know, incapacitation they might have or disability, whatever you'd like to term it? Is there somewhat of a link between the way they're thinking and their actual body shape? Did that help you?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, the reason why I gained so much weight is because I just gave up. I
Mm.
mean, I was at a point where I let myself go, and that's mentally.
Hmm.
So, my not only did my mindset suffer, my physical appearance suffered.
Yep.
I'll give you a perfect example. And I like using examples of some clients or people that I come across. And of course, I don't use names. Um, but I had someone amazing, phenomenal radio show host.
Hmm.
And I was talking to her, and she felt as though she was not progressing, was not progressing in her career because of her weight.
Hmm.
And I asked her, I said, why do you think it's, your weight? And she says, it's just that this is how I feel because a lot of people are skinnier than me. And mind you, she's a very beautiful woman.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of people are skinnier than me, and I just feel like they're getting more, roles. And I said, okay, who told you that? She says, well, nobody.
She
And I
did.
asked her one question. I said, what was it like growing up? And I love asking people that question because it tells me a lot. I go into mode. I take my emotional X-ray and my mental X-ray, and I go to work. And I said, what was it like when you were growing up? And she said, well, I was always teased about my weight.
Mm.
I was always one of the heavier kids. And I said, okay. I said, so what you're saying to me is that you were always, one of the chubbier kids growing up, and that's normal for some people. And she was picked on. And I said, is that little girl still alive today? It was very quiet. Um, and I said, the thing with you is you are allowing past situations and past feelings to determine your future success. It's not any of these people that are preventing you from being successful. It's your own mindset.
Mm.
And she was very emotional. And because she really didn't know why she was blocked, why there was an obstacle there, and she thanked me so much. And it's amazing because I get that a lot, but a lot of people don't know. They are blaming other people, other things, other places for something that is buried beneath their surface, and most people don't know how to find it.
Mm.
And I'm blessed to be able to go in and ask the right questions. And most of the time, I'm uncovering particular things that they never thought about or they haven't thought about in 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely amazing. But the cool part about it is, and what makes it rewarding for me is when I see somebody burst into tears and they're crying,
Hmm.
I know it's not because of the pain. It's usually because of the breakthrough.
Yeah.
Because now they can finally say, this is what it is. This is the root. And now I can work on this particular problem, this particular thing that's been ailing me for so many years and has been preventing me from becoming successful. And this is in your personal life and in your business. It doesn't matter.
Wow. That's really revealing. I mean, for anybody who has ever experienced that release of, finding the root cause of something, it it's truly transformational, isn't it?
Transfer me. Absolutely. And like I tell people in sales, it's never a sales problem. It's always a self problem.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of a tip for anybody listening today. It's if you're into marketing and sales.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're not making the sales you want, man, it's never a sales problem. It's a self problem.
Yeah, it's always you. Yeah, be responsible. Oh, I noticed that on your website, which is at Meiyoko Taylor, and I apologise if I've incorrectly pronounced your name again, .com, you have a little bit about working with yourself. I'd like to put up a link to your website and create a post later on, if that would be okay.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
what is it as part of your overall offering that you provide a direct working with those who are a good fit for you? Tell us a little bit about your services.
Well, I do one-on-one coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's limited to a certain amount of people. I do it pretty much to my discretion.
Mm-hmm.
I actually do group coaching as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I'm definitely pushing more heading into 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start doing retreats because I believe what I'm doing is such an intimate thing.
Yeah.
Most people aren't really tapping into what's going on beneath the surface. And I'm just the type, I'm to the point where there's so many people that say they're motivational speakers and they're leaders and they're doing all these things. And mind you, some of them are doing some fantastic things. Is
Yep.
not what I'm saying.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I have worked with so many different high performing individuals, business owners, people that are just regular career blue collar workers,
Yep.
work with them all. And it always seems like they feel like they have to mask what is really going on in their life. Their business may be going well, but their home life absolutely stinks.
But they're a mess.
They're
Yeah.
disconnected from their spouse. Their children hate their guts. It's just a lot of different imbalances, and it's really the root cause of it is because that person is not happy. Something is going on within them. It may be a passion that they're allowing to die. I heard Les Brown say some of the most amazing people are 6 feet underground. A lot of people's dreams just die with them. And I think that's the state of a lot of people. A lot of people go around and they live life on accident.
Yeah.
And what I mean is if something good happens to them, it's a surprise. It's like, oh my God, oh wow, this could happen. Wow, I never thought this could happen to me. Okay, let me go back to mediocrity and living life on accident again.
And hope for another positive event.
Exactly. It's like hitting the lottery, like hoping for another positive event instead of saying, hey, you know what? This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to do. I'm going to actually create a design for my life. And that design may have some hiccups every now and then. But you know what? If I have a clear direction and a clear goal, now I can focus. And you cannot really focus. I don't care what productivity course you take, how to focus, all that other stuff. You cannot really focus if you do not have a vision for your life.
Wow.
Period.
That's pretty insightful stuff. I wonder, for you personally, do you ever get ebbs and flows in terms of your personal energy, and what do you do to recharge?
Very, very good question. And this is something that I actually learned this year. I'm a very transparent person. That's one thing about me. I'm very transparent. So I was dealing with a client, and they had a lot of different things going on. Wonderful person, but had a lot of different things going on, and I found myself being very drained dealing with this particular client.
It happens.
And yeah, absolutely. But I've learned, it taught me that not only because I give 150%, man. When I have a client or I need there's somebody that needs help, I mean, I go all in. That's just how I am.
Yeah.
But you have to be, it taught me, and somebody reached out to me saying, look, you have to be more responsible. You have to be able to recharge. You have to know when to take time and say, you know what, this is too much.
Yeah.
And it takes discipline, and I'm kind of getting there. I'm getting the hang of it. But I say it is a challenge when you know that this is your vision and the mission to do this. I think that's the difference. This is not a job for me. This is a responsibility. So every day I'm blessed to wake up. I think that there's somebody else that needs my help. There's somebody else whose life I can change. Somebody reached out to me on Instagram about 3 months ago, and she was a 17-year-old girl, and she said, she says, I've been watching you for a while, and I was going to take my life. And she said, listening to you, she says, I don't know why I'm here on earth, but she says, I do know because of you that my life is worth living. And out of everything that has happened to me, messages like that for me,
they're powerful.
Those are the messages that really push me to continue to do what I'm doing.
It's just like an endorsement of the good work you're doing. And when I hear stories like that, I actually get a tingle through my body, and I think that's real growth. That's real impact that you're having. So keep up the good work.
Because that's what it's all about, Rick. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. I mean, you'll make revenue will come, but it's those things like that that let you know and assure you when money may be low or where situations may be going on in your life, somebody is depending on you. Just a sentence, just some encouragement.
Some words.
You don't know, some words They could be on the verge of trying to end their life. They could be on the verge of doing something that they're going to regret for the rest of their life. So to be able to be blessed to have the opportunity to say something and to encourage someone, to teach someone something that they can carry for the rest of their life and change their trajectory based on the avenue that they were headed, man, it's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling.
And everybody can, has the potential to be that powerful, to be that influential, and just to actually be there for another human being. And
Absolutely.
you talked about making, revenue will come, but I strongly believe it's the intangibles oftentimes that are more valuable. In fact, they're almost priceless when you know that you've had that level of impact. So that's an amazing story, and thank you for sharing that part of it with us. I wanted just to touch a little bit more about where people can find your amazing 5 steps to transform your life book. Where is that?
That's actually available on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles.
And Barnes and Nobles, excellent. Okay, so I'll put a link to that description in the post. And right now we're going to tack right. We're going to go into another area of your multifaceted, multi-skilled background, if you don't mind. And what I want to do is I want to touch a little bit on how people can start to find their amazing before they come and see you.
This is a good one. All right. So I get this question a lot. One of the first things that you must do, you have to admit that you have a problem.
Yeah.
And for so long, I didn't want to admit to myself. And it's bad when you're lying to yourself. It's really bad.
Yeah, it is.
It's really bad. So, I was lying to myself. I had to get to the point. Most people, Rick, they do not have a strong level of self-awareness. And I really stress that. So in order for me to even help, I tell clients, in order for me to even help you, you already have to be at the point where you realize you have a problem. Yeah. And that desire to change is already there. I can't work harder on your life than you're willing to work harder on yourself. It just doesn't work. So you have to have a strong level of self-awareness. Recognize, okay, this is rock bottom. My life is not where I want it to be. I am unhappy. I am upset. I'm sad. I'm hurt. And I want to change. That's the first stepping stone, because a lot of people are in denial and say, you know what, I'm just going to continue to go to my everyday job. I'm going to continue to stay in this relationship. I'm just going to will my way to happiness. And that's lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself every day. So you got to get to the point where you have a strong level of self-awareness and say, hey, this is it. It's time to change because this sucks.
Yeah. Yep.
So once you get to that point, now you can introduce yourself on how to actually start making the changes. Now, from that point on, you want to think about something. What are you passionate about? What based on your core values, what is that thing that you wake up in the morning and you can't stop thinking about? What is that profession or that activity or that thing that really makes you smile, that instantly changes your mood the moment you think about it?
Makes you glow.
Now you want to start, exactly, makes you glow. So now you want to start thinking about some of those things. And then the next thing is, can it be scalable? Can it be monetized? And 9 times out of 10 it can. And that eventually starts this journey into entrepreneurship, or into, maybe it's just a hobby or something you want to do that adds value to your life. It doesn't necessarily always have to be entrepreneurial where you go out and you make money. It could be something that you're missing. It's just part of you, and it could be contributions and giving to charities, or doing more things with your kids, or just something that you're missing, that piece of you of that really makes you who you are, that you are missing. That's where you start to really go into self-discovery. So it's having that strong level of self-awareness and recognizing that you're in the crap and you want to get out of it. And then going into what do I really love to do? Do I even know at this point in my life? And because when I was at that point, when I had that level of self-awareness, I'm like, oh my God, what do I really love to do? And then I realized I love helping people. I love giving back. I love teaching. I've always been the person, no matter what. I had old people when I was young come to me for advice.
Hmm.
I've always been that person that was just good with people, very nurturing. So I often tell people, they ask me, how long have you been a coach, or when did you decide to be a coach? I said, I was born a coach. I tell them, I said, coaching chose me. I didn't choose coaching. I
Hmm.
was already doing it, but it took a lot of things in my life to direct me to what I really was supposed to do or what I was passionate about. So I tell people to take inventory of the gifts, the talents that you have, the things that make you happy.
Hmm.
Start tapping into that. What are you not utilizing that you could be adding value to someone else? That's a very good question. What are some of the things that you're not utilizing that are very, very valuable to someone else? Getting back to finding your amazing are those things. And I'll say that to you, I'll say it to me, and I'll say it to everyone. It's those things that people look at and they'll say, wow, how the heck did you do that? That's so amazing. And you know what we say? Oh, it's nothing.
Yeah, yeah,
Whatever. This is nothing to me.
yeah.
But what you don't realize is that you are downplaying a skill. You're downplaying a gift. You're downplaying something of value that you can use to add to someone else's life. And we don't realize that. So I say that to everyone listening. Find those things that you do that a lot of people are fascinated by, that a lot of people are amazed by, because those are the things that naturally come to you. That's what makes you unique. Those are the gifts that you have.
Hmm.
So you really want to start really going into that self-discovery. And once you start doing that, man, I mean, the light starts to get brighter and brighter and brighter. And the more of yourself you gain, the more you don't want anybody to take that back.
It just makes me think about something I heard some time ago about the curse of knowledge. We, as individuals, we hold this, I guess, library of knowledge and skills and experience. And like you were just talking about, we tend to downplay those skills, like you said, because it's just normal for us. But what a lot of people forget who have that knowledge is that it's new and helpful to somebody else.
Absolutely. Your normal is someone else's extraordinary.
Yeah, yeah.
And we do not realize that. And I didn't realize it. And, my mother and my father used to always tell me all the time, oh my God, people just love you.
Hmm.
You're so good with people. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? I just told them this and told them that. And it's just like, man, you can sit down with everybody and they gravitate to you. And it's just like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. But now looking back, people actually have gifts of communication and relating and embracing and being empathetic and really connecting with people. I know how to connect with people.
Yeah.
It's people have a gift of connecting with other people, and it's something that we may take for granted because it comes so easy to us. So yeah, I tell everybody listening, think about those things that come so easy but people are so fascinated by. They find them extraordinary. Those are the things you really want to start to pay attention to, because 9 times out of 10, you love to do them.
Mm.
It's part of you. You love to do them. And those are the things that we just take for granted. We don't really focus on. And then we go and we work these jobs. And it's just like, oh my God, I'm just living to pay bills.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing anything that I want to do with my life. And not realizing that
They've got something to give.
you have so much to give and you're just burying your potential. You know how many people are walking around every day in this world burying their potential?
Mm.
Amazing attributes about themselves, but you would never know it
Mm.
because all you see is them punching in a clock, typing on a computer, working on a construction site, working at jobs that they absolutely hate, or even behind bars,
Yeah.
even in correctional institutions, because not everybody behind bars is guilty.
Mm.
Not everybody behind bars. I mean, there's some people that are rehabilitated, in the criminal justice system who have fascinating abilities,
Mm.
fascinating value to give to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all about seeing the greatness in everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has some level of value that they can actually possibly give.
And potential. I think to myself, my future business is focused on exactly that, getting people to see themselves for their potential and what their future business could be, and what steps they would need to take. So this interview is a very good match in terms of their personal development towards whatever venture they choose to go into. Now, with that, we talked about earlier how you could go into a business and revenue would come, but I wonder, is for that person that's sitting there now saying, I actually like, I don't know, artwork, I like drawing. If they were to start out with the idea to help people learn how to draw without this preconceived idea of making money from it, oftentimes that could blossom into something else. Is that a good way to look at this if you're just starting out?
Well, see, let's say you have a love for art, because I love drawing too. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have a love for art and you want to use your art to inspire people. Just to say from an entrepreneur standpoint of where that could go, you could actually, and one thing you want to do, I want to tell people, encourage them, when you have a gift, you want to sharpen it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to develop it even further than it already is, because there's raw talent and then there's developed talent, polished talent.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very different thing. So you may want to go to school for art, for artistry. It may land you a job creating some of the most beautiful artwork for Pixar movies and all different types of things.
Mm.
Or you can do your own comic book. Or you can start your own school or do your own training course on artwork.
Mm.
I mean, it's limitless based on, it just really depends on where you want to take it.
Yeah, yeah. I looked at some of the bullet points that we touched on, and one of them was two more things I'd love to cover off, because you wouldn't believe it. We're pushing just under an hour already. Time flies when we do these things. Yeah. So I'd love to explore how we can make the world fall in love with our brands. Do you have anything to share with us on that?
Oh, plenty. So here's the thing, especially in America, we are so fascinated with being ordinary, being like everybody else here. When it comes to social media, we're following the same things, we're doing the same things.
Mm-hmm.
What makes a brand stand out is the authenticity. And that's something that I always stress to everybody. Be authentic. Be who you are. Be vulnerable. Be passionate. Be a leader. There's sometimes I don't feel like talking to anybody.
Mm.
It's just the way that it is. But your personality should be in your brand. That's what makes your brand authentic. That's what makes people connect with you. People want to feel like they know you. People want to feel like they can be you. People want to feel like the opportunity that you have, the life that you live, is possible for them.
Mm.
You never want to be in a place where you're on this high pedestal and people feel like they can't get to you.
Yeah, untouchable.
And this exactly. And this is what I talk about, why it's important to engage and to connect and to communicate with people.
Mm-hmm.
You want to always make people feel like they have the opportunity to connect with you. You want people to feel like they know you and they resonate with you and have never met you physically a day in their life. And this is what people are missing when it comes to branding. That's how you make people fall in love with your brand. There's going to be people that hate your guts. There's going to be people that say, and there's going to be people that absolutely love you. And those loyal people that really love you, they will stick to you to the ends of time because you are giving them 100% of who you truly are. So authenticity is key to making people fall in love with your brand. When I realized that I was just going to be who I was and people were going to either love me or hate me, it was such a liberating feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And when I develop somebody that follows me, whether it's coaching, whether it's whatever they're following me for, it is such an authentic love. It is such an authentic admiration, because what you see is what you are getting.
Yeah. So when people want to, connect with other business owners, aside from your good self, oftentimes, in my experience, I've found that there's this, like a curtain, like a puppet on a string. They're not the real authentic person, and it really throws me. And you can just feel it, can't you?
Oh, absolutely.
It's
You
yeah.
can tell when someone is not being authentic. You can tell when someone is very scripted.
Mm,
You can tell when the intention is primarily to benefit them and not you.
hmm
You can tell all these different things. It's interesting when I do go out to networking events, when you ask people, tell me a little bit about yourself or what do you do?
hmm
9 times out of 10, they're going to respond with their profession.
Me.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. And sometimes I ask the question a different way and I say, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. And they'll say, well, I'm an attorney or I'm an accountant. They immediately go into their job or their profession. And it's just like, no, that's not what I want to know.
Mm,
Tell me about you.
yeah.
Tell me some things about you. And I think we miss that. So when it comes to branding, people want to know about you
Yeah.
instead of what you're selling right now.
Yep.
You have to be able to sell yourself, who you are, love, caring, value, empathy, all those things. People want to know that you care about them. And it fascinates me because you can have someone that has a mediocre product and someone that has a superior product, but they're focused on sales and focused on getting numbers and making money.
hmm
And then you have that one person that has the mediocre product and he absolutely loves the consumer. He cares for them. He nurtures them. He takes them on a journey. He lets them in on some personal aspects about him.
hmm
Not too much, but not too little. There's a balance.
Yep.
And these people fall in love with his brand. They fall in love with his company, and he has no shortage of new consumers.
It's relatable.
Be- exactly, exactly. It's very simple. It's very simple. But we live in a world. We have so much wisdom. Where sometimes we're just so stupid. I mean, and I'll say it. I'll be very blunt. We have so much knowledge, technology, and all these different great minds. Sometimes we can be so stupid,
Mm.
and we don't focus on the simplicity of business, the simplicity of connecting and building relationships.
So would you?
Because at the end of
Yeah. Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say because at the end of the day, it's the simplicity that is the power.
Mm. I, I'm listening to all this, and I'm just having these thoughts rattling around in my head, and I think to myself, does this closely link to the last point that I want to talk about today, which is the number one reason why people who go into business are failing? Is it because of those things?
Oh yeah, you just tie right into it, man. It's the lack of authenticity,
Mm,
it's the lack of transparency, and it's the lack of compassion.
mm,
I mean, look at the world today, man. We lack so much compassion. I'll give you an example because we can talk about this all day.
yep.
I want to give you an example. The employee that's working at a company that's disgruntled, they're working in customer service, they have a rude attitude. I hang up with them and I'm like, what the heck is their problem? They hang up with me, they're upset. The reason why they may be upset is because they're not getting paid enough. They're not working enough hours. They feel like the people in upper management don't care about them.
hmm
This is one of the biggest problems, especially in corporations in my country, when it comes to the employee management relationship is just completely disconnected. So, and this goes back to being authentic and your brand and all those things. So that plays into business culture. The business culture, period. The relationships that we are building are not authentic relationships anymore.
Mm,
It's the what's in it for me. So that's the number one reason why businesses fail is because, for one, the upper management may have lost track of their vision now.
hmm
They may have gotten caught up financially, or they don't know what a vision is, or they haven't really cultivated it. So that doesn't trickle down to the employees,
Yep.
and that the consumers that are first-time buyers, they think the customer service sucks because the employees are upset because they're not connected to the overall culture and mission of the company.
Mm.
And as a result, you get somebody that buys one time and never buys again and tells 10 other people not why they shouldn't buy from that company.
Yeah, it's a domino effect,
So
isn't it?
it's, yeah, so it's a domino effect. So that's the number one reason why businesses fail. If you want your business to be successful, you make sure you be authentic. You make sure you're compassionate. You make sure you're transparent. You make sure people understand your vision and your mission and your reason why you have a company in the first place. And then you teach that business culture to your employees. And then your employees can have that same love, compassion, and transparency to the consumers. That way you create generational consumers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not only do you have one consumer, you have the son, you have the daughter, you have the grandpa, you have the neighbors.
You don't have a transactional relationship. You have a real relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a legitimate relationship. Whether it's business, whether it's personal, it is a relationship. And people forget that. It's a relationship.
Yeah. Business is about people. A lot of businesses hide behind we're a corporation. And, frankly, that's a lot of BS, because people are business, businesses are people, and you can never divorce the two. But there has been so many gold nuggets dropped throughout this call. I want to thank you for being on the show, and for
I had fun. Pleasure is all mine, Rick.
For anyone who does come and listen to this call, I recommend that you go over it a couple of times, because I think there are some hidden gems in there that will reveal themselves the more times you listen to it. But to give them a breakdown where they can find you, where do we go? Where are you? How can people contact you?
They can go to my website, www.meiyokotaylor.com, and it's M as in Mary, Eiyoko, Taylor. Or they can find me on Twitter. I'm very active on social media, and it's the same. It's Meiyoko Taylor, no spaces. And on Instagram, it's the same, Meiyoko Taylor. And on Facebook, they can find me at Meiyoko Taylor as well.
Okay, so Meiyoko Taylor, and I've got the name right. I won't forget it now. Meiyoko Taylor. I'm going to say it a dozen times before I get in the call today. Look, again, thank you so very much. I've actually been sitting here learning a lot of new things. I've been blessed to have you on the call today, and I'd love to invite you back sometime.
Absolutely. The pleasure's all mine. I would love to be back. I enjoy myself, Rick. Okay. You're awesome.
See you later.
All right. See ya.